Hello, podcast world. It's me, your man, Dorian David, a.k.a. Mr. Game Time. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, please. I need your help so we can spread this thing love, spread this thing out, and get this thing turned around on the head. I'm glad talking to you. I'm still here. Yep. Made it. I didn't do that by myself. I didn't do it. Hey, when I wake up, something woke me up. Or something gave the okay for me to wake up. There's something in charge of this thing. Earth, people, humans, everything that we exist, something's in charge. Something is the boss. Something is the creator. That's what I believe. Everybody got their own belief, but that's what I believe. And I made it another week with his help, or whatever name you want to call it. I made it. We made it. If you're listening to this voice that he's bestowed upon me, we made it. We here. And we praise him and thank him for that. Now, the topic of this week's episode is a question that I have for the people. The question is, am I a nigger? Y'all want me to repeat that again? Am I a nigger? Now, the reason I ask that question is because some human beings call me that and have called me that. That's right. How you spell it, how you pronounce it. We got terminologies for it, everything. Now, you know I look up everything. I research it from a lot of different angles. Get the definition, meaning talk to people about it. I have been talking to people about that word, that slang, for a while now, asking people questions about it. Everybody got a different response to that. Now, I just don't ask the dark people, humans, or the indigenous people. Or, we got labels for us, so I'm just trying to be political correct here. I ask all the humans that I come in contact with, Asian, black, white, Mexican, whatever you want to call it, Yes, and when I ask that question, they pause, they sit back for a minute. And think about, we usually should be thinking about what we say. You got to think before you talk. Now, the response was, no, you're not a nigger. And some of the response was, it all depends on who's saying it. Now, I don't understand that. I really don't. Now, we're going to go in this direction first and get this out the way. The indigenous people, as we call them, the black people, they say, it's how you pronounce it. Or they say it's in terms of endearment. Or we took the word and we control the word. That's what they say. I mean, people answer questions honestly. It comes from the spirit. It comes from the soul. They're going to answer honestly. You know what I'm saying? So when they do answer, I just want them to explain their answer to me. And a lot of it, I got to keep turning back and forth because I'm in two worlds, y'all. Listen, about 3 or 4. I'm going to be in 3 pretty soon. Facebook, my podcast, and I'm going to get that YouTube live too. We're going to do this thing right. I want y'all to ask yourself that question. And do you refer to yourself as a nigger? That's right. Nigger. That's how you spell it. And I looked it up, the word. I looked it up a long time ago. Yeah, it's a few definitions for the word. Yeah, they got a few definitions for it. The first one is a stupid, ignorant person. That's right. That's that first definition. And the second, it means a black man, not a black woman, black man. It's very rarely, I hear people call it black women. They call them the B word. They refer to themselves as that. I don't know. They do. How we speak to one another is very important to me. How we relate to one another. Now, they also say the indigenous people, the black people, African American people, however you want to label it, they say it's our word, we took it. You took what? You took it. I don't understand how you take something. And you can take it and use it how you want. Now, certain humans can't say that word. They can't. Listen, certain ones you can't say that word. You can't say it. Certain people can't say it because, well, I'll chunk it up to you like this. The best explanation I can say about that is that people before, the humans before us, our ancestors, they messed it up for you, for that word. It's there. They did it because they did it wrong, misused of it, and they changed it. Now, it originated, I wrote it down. It originated from Latin. Around the time 1619, I believe I wrote it down in those terms. Now, the original word was spelled I-N-G-E-R. And then, once the slave trade started popping and going down, and then got over here in America and different parts of the world, it slang changed. They added a G to it. The other definition of it, it's another definition of it, meaning a slur, an insult to another person, another human being. It's a put down. You're insulting that person. That's the definitions I got from it. Now, it's a lot over the years. Something was added to it, something wasn't added to it. Now, the younger generation, the generation that's now, it's a different for them. I think the impact of the word is different because they didn't go through what our ancestors went through or the other humans. And when I speak about my video I don't know what's going on. Hold on, y'all, because I use certain words. You got to be careful around these buzzers. I ain't playing no music right now. Don't let that. Well, hold on, y'all. Let me see what's going on here. Let's see. Okay, the younger generation is, I guess they don't know what the impact of that word is or what it means or how deep the roots go for that. Well, my grandfather well, you know what, y'all, hold on, man. I gotta stop this and start because they doing something. I guess this word here, because I'm not even playing no music now. And then I put on there, don't own the rights to the music. I did put that on there. So hold on, y'all. I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna come right back. Okay, we're back. So I'm not playing any music, so I don't know what they talk about. Some music playing, so, and I did put that. But anyway, I did ask some young people, adults, and they had to get different point of view. You know, listen to the music nowadays, the way they use it. Is they using? I mean, I asked them, is it that endearment, saying you want to go bust that nigga upside the head? I don't know. That's a endearment, and you reference a black person with that word associating. It's like that word and black people are connected. I mean, this is I'm very passionate about this here, and just now I don't know about showing, because this, well, you know, music or anything. Now I was going to show y'all a video, and that it explains, because I did my homework on this, and what explains the impact of it. You know, I mean, if it's insulting when a certain human call you that, and is it insulting when another human call you that? It's the same thing, because you're referring that nigger to a black person. Even if a black person is saying it, you're referring that nigger is black. And then the way we say it, it sounds like an insult, like you put that person down. And where did we get that? Where we get that from? So we took that and we're going to use it on each other. It just don't make sense to me. But it's just only me. You know. How y'all feel about that? Word. Do the indigenous people, because it's not just, it's not just us, the digital people or the brown people, because they call Irish that too. And they call over there in Saudi Arabia and Yemen, they call them that too. They just use a different, we got different dialogue, but it's the same word, same thing. So what is it? Am I a nigger? Just because my skin is dark, that makes me a nigger. A stupid, ignorant person. You're insulting me. Or is that term an endearment, as they say? I don't know. Y'all can write me in and say what you feel on this thing. Y'all can leave little messages and stuff and post. It ain't gonna stop people from saying it and using it. It seems like when they write about it in these songs and movies and stuff like that, they make a lot of money saying that word and saying bust up beside your head, shoot and kill you. They make a lot of money. Yeah, they let that go. I guess it was freedom of speech. You can say whatever they want to say, right? That's what the Constitution says. But I read somewhere, that we will be judged on our words. Not just our deeds, or what we do, but we're going to be judged on what we say, how we say it. We're going to be evaluated on everything. I read that somewhere. I don't refer to no human as that. No, I do not. Now, that organization, NAACP, whatever that black organization is, I guess they supposed to have buried the word. I don't know how they can do that. I don't have no idea how they can just say that word is buried and dead. And they saying that word like, I done heard pastors and priests and rabbis and teachers and lawyers People, educated people, actors, say that to each other. They write it in movies. They write it in the movie. That word, and it's been like that. I mean, when they back in the couple. Let's go back at least 60 years. 60 years. Let's go back 60. That's like 7 years before 60 years. And then another thing. Why is it? I don't know who can answer this. Why is it that word or the words, when it comes to the indigenous people, we got so many titles? First it was nigger, then it was Negro, then it's African American, black. What? Come on, man. What? Listen, can we just keep it one simple? Because this complicated. I don't know what era, generation. We gonna change it again. I don't know. Listen. I don't know if I should play this video because I don't want to get in no trouble, y'all, because these people, man, I mean, I'm trying to do the right thing, but ain't no music. So let me see if I can get this video for y'all. And then after this, then we're going to talk about it. Hello, Alyssa Cherie Ford. How you doing, baby? That's my daughter, y'all. Let me get this video. Now, I don't know. See, listen. And I'm trying to do this thing, but educate and we learning and stuff. And I know the music people might, but this here, I'm going to see if they're going to let me do this thing here. We're going to share stuff. Y'all, it ain't on my TV yet. Let me turn this thing back. Let me see. I'm going to turn my TV back on. Get this thing right. See, hold on, y'all. Then, I don't want to start the video until I make sure it's right. Recast to the TV. Let me see. See if it's going to go. There it is. Now, I don't know if y'all can see. Let me go back here. It's casting now. Let's see if I can go back. Listen, I know this thing works, man. I see. Okay. Let me see. Go put it. There we go. I don't know if it's going to be enough. I got to get out of this one. But anyway, I can let y'all listen to it. Here, we're going to play, and then y'all be able to hear it. Okay, here we go. See, but y'all gonna be able to hear it.
At its root, the word is Niger, the Latin word for black. But as soon as enslaved Africans were brought to these shores, the word, pronounced with various accents and emphasis, was used to depict them not just as something derogatory, but as something not quite evolved from ape to human being. By examining this one word, we get an understanding of not only who we are, but who we have been and who we might become. But this two-syllable word and its evolution reveals much about American society.
There is some risk in attempting to isolate the idea of contemporary culture and comparing and contrasting it to early American culture. For me, it's an artificial distinction. I think it's more useful to look at this word and its usage as part of a seamless strand, really a seamless narrative that runs from the beginning, from before the beginning of the country to where we are now.
Hold on, y'all. Where we are now. Here we go.
In 1619, settlers in Jamestown were already using the word to describe the enslaved
Turn it up.
You will find that British redcoats, and this is well documented, used the N-word when they taunted the Revolutionary Army because the idea was you're so weak, you have to use niggers to bolster your troops.
By the turn of the the century, blacks had been freed from slavery for almost 50 years, but were second-class citizens in the North and lived in harsh segregation in the South.
This thing is real, y'all. This ain't fake. This is
The
real.
1915 silent film, Birth of a Nation,
We're going to get to the
portrayed white
bottom of this
knights
thing,
the
and we're
Ku
going to
Klux
try to turn
Klan,
this thing
not as
around.
American-born terrorists, but as the defenders of white women, culture, and society.
But it wasn't just the Klan that used the term. The N-word permeated almost every aspect of pop culture and daily life, as if it had arisen from the national groundwater.
And then when you look at the best-selling songs of the 1920s and 30s, the equivalent of the Billboard's Hot 100, we might say, today we're looking at songs that not only use nigger throughout the lyrics, but have nigger in the title. At the same time, I like to say you could stand in your kitchen during this period and you could do a slow 360 turn, and everywhere you turn, your eyes would land on the word nigger. From your stove polish to the trade names for your fruits and vegetables, to the penny bank that your child has, to the board games that your child plays with, to the card games that the adults play in the parlor next to the piano with the nigger songster sitting on.
The nation loved to romanticize the Moonlight and Magnolias idea of the antebellum South, with Margaret Mitchell's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, Gone with the Wind, also becoming the most popular film in the nation's history. The book used the N-word repeatedly, but while Rhett was allowed to use profanity to tell Scarlett what he didn't give,
frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
the Hays office censored the word itself from the script.
But the nation was convulsing. The Supreme Court's striking down of school segregation in 1954, the slaying of Emmett Till in Mississippi in 1955, the Montgomery bus boycott later that same year, and the bombing of the Birmingham church in 1963 were part of the massive change and social upheaval of the civil rights movement. In 1967, the reigning heavyweight boxing champion of the world, Muhammad Ali, refused to serve in the war in Vietnam. His reasoning set off a national firestorm.
They shoot them for what? They never called me nigger. They never lynched me. They didn't put no dogs on me. They didn't rob me of my nationality, rape and kill my mother and father. What I'm going to shoot them for what?
The hopes and dreams of this movement led to a brash new message. Black was beautiful, baby, and you could say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. You could see this new sensibility in the blaxploitation films of the early 1970s. Black anti-heroes began to embrace a bold new identity, not by disavowing the N-word, but by claiming it as their own.
It's the American dream, nigga.
But blaxploitation flicks appealed mainly to black audiences. It took Richard Pryor, a skinny comedian from Peoria, Illinois, to shoot to crossover success with a ribald routine that emphasized the use of profanity, especially the N-word.
Spade! Hokey hokey! Nigger! Dead hunter!
By the time Ronald Reagan was elected, Pryor had disavowed use of the term. But a new generation was taking the reins of pop culture. Everything was new, raw, and angry. The most visceral film of the late 1980s was Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, anchored by its profane, racist rant montage.
Dago Wop, Ganny, garlic bread, pizza slinger, spaghetti bending, victim on Perry Como, Luciano Pavarotti.
Chicken and biscuit eating and monkey.
Hi, Jabari.
Boom, big guy.
Hi, grandson. Listen, I told you in contact with me, man.
Pizza and
Don't
go
be playing around, man. Stop playing.
At the same time,
Don't call me now, I'm on the
hip-hop
show.
and rap storytelling gave new voice to young black Americans. On the West Coast, a group of young rappers called themselves NWA, Niggas with Attitude, and their first underground album, Straight Outta Compton, featured 46 uses of the N-word.
That thing sell, man,
3
when they
years
use
later,
that
the
slang and
album
that
Niggas for
killing and
Life
talking.
featured
Each
185
other,
hits,
niggas or whatever.
and went to the top of the charts.
That make money.
The word gained new currency in popular culture.
Popular
This
culture,
music
that's what they call it.
by, for, and about black and brown people became a dominant force in
See?
youth culture, spreading across
Youth.
the country, even
They
to
got
white
different-
suburbia.
Different way they feel about that.
But you know what's on my mind right now?
When they bring that money in,
It
they
ain't
really don't
coffee
care.
in my kitchen.
That's why I
It's
don't
the
know.
dead
That's just my
nigger in
opinion.
my garage.
But the word was too soaked in history for that to be the end of it.
You know, it's-
O.J. Simpson's
you know,
trial of the
take some
century
people off,
further
whatever.
electrified the national audience
But,
when a white police
well,
detective was found to have used the term frequently.
Sure didn't make everybody happy when he started working.
Once beloved
He didn't make-
Seinfeld star Michael Richards all but ended his career in
It's just the truth.
2006 at the Laugh
That's all
Factory
it
in
is.
Los
He's just
Angeles.
talking the truth.
With an
Facts.
N-word laced
No,
tirade
y'all
of a
ain't
black
seen, some of
heckler
these people
that
have seen
sounded
this
like it
before.
was from an earlier century.
You know, we talking about.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's enough of that. Let's get out of here.
The NFL has grappled with the issue repeatedly. Starting this year, the NFL now sometimes penalizes use of the word on the field, but that decision was met with vocal opposition by black players.
Okay, y'all. Now, that is going back to youth. Let me turn this. Oh, it's gonna stay there, y'all. Okay, so it's just that particular word, and it's a part of history. It is. It is a part of history. You know, because, you know, our ancestors and the people before us, you know, let me get out of this YouTube thing and get back into my studio, y'all. I'm just all over the place. My pocket people like, what is this guy doing? Okay, bye. I'm about to hit back podcast. You know, everything about life. You know, now, just think about the impact that words have. Words have power. And we talk about power. Words have life and death in words. Power. Words, they said, sticks and stones might hurt my bones, but words, that's not true. The words hurt. Might be cursing you out and saying things, lying on you. You be feeling bad, man. You know I do. I be like, why that person say that to me? You know? Curse me out like that. Say hard stuff. And lying. Oh, no, well, why you lying on me? And them words hurt. And the impact on how we say it. So I want to know America. The whole world. Because, you know, it's not just America watching me, man. We everywhere. You know I'm over somebody in Africa listening. I got friends in Africa too, y'all. Yeah. Somebody in Africa listening to me. Yeah. Now, I was talking to one of my, you know, I talk to people, especially my family. You know, talking to one of my cousins and stuff. And you know, how, you know, we see each other in different countries, different parts of the world. You know, we got different cultures. And we are different culture-wise in the way we was brought up and things, but it's all the same on how we speak and talk to one another and respect one another. It goes back to that four-letter word, love. It always goes back to love. And what is love? God. So when y'all see me, y'all can tell me if I'm a nigger or not. Because I don't think I'm one. I'm a human being first. I said that in the first episode. First, I'm human being. Now, I have brown skin. But that don't stop me from being a human. You know? And ladies, you know, you calling each other, what's the definition of a bee? Female dog or something like that? You calling each other female dogs. I mean, maybe y'all calling it, saying it in an endearment way. Maybe. Now, I have a proposal for that word, nigga. Now, I mean, if somebody if we're going to change it, the definition of it, I don't know who you got to talk to put the definition in the word, in the book and stuff. We can change the meaning of it. You know, we can't do that. I mean, the Constitution have amendments. We do have amendments. And we can change it. I mean, it was once slavery, and then the 13th Amendment came, and we added some other amendments. So we can change it if we want to, but some people might not want to. Because they make a lot of money off that word. You know what I mean? You know, money more important than people, each other. I mean, some people. I mean, life is more valuable. Relationships with each other is more valuable to me. It's priceless. You can't buy it. A good friendship. How much money can you pay for a good friendship, a good relationship with a person? You know? I mean, I don't have to pay $1, a quarter, to have a relationship with Jesus. It's free. It's free. Free for me to have a relationship. Mr. Perry, oh Lord, y'all, I gotta call this. I gotta shout this man out, man. Mr. Perry Ashford, he's in the studio. Perry Ashford, I used to work with that guy. You know, Mr. Perry Ashford represents the definition of a man, of a father, of a friend. This guy. Yeah, man, I used to work with him side by side. You know, we was in the trenches together over there at that place he was working at. He was in the trenches. And he did some good things, man. We still friends. We still be hanging out, man. He ain't called me in a while. I don't know. But we gonna go out to lunch and get together, you know, soon. Yeah, but now, going back to this word, now it's another, because they say that word nigger is changed to slang. And they say nigger. So I was looking up nigger. That's spelled Niggera. Nigger. Now, I couldn't find it. I was looking for the definition of that. Nigger. Nigger. So I ran across it. And I seen the definition of that word. Now you can go look it up for yourself, because y'all got to do some work too. Nigger represents a black woman. That's what the definition says. Exotic, beautiful, luxurious woman. Nigger. Nigera. Now that's the definition I got from that. So when somebody say nigger, the definition, you're saying a black woman, a beautiful, exotic woman. Go look the definition up. All right, this here, I do facts here. Everything in life, facts. I'm going to go read it. I'm going to go find it. It's not a theory or something like that. We can be able to go and read it, and touch it, and see it. Because fact, remember that word from the first episode, is truth. Fact is truth. You can go back, because it's history. It is there. It evolved, the meaning, phrase. Yes, we can go back. That's what we do, facts. Truth. That's what we do here. So, to the people, I'm not telling people what to do. I can't tell y'all what to do, and y'all grown. We're gonna do what we want to do. People do what they want to do. They exercise their free will, and they do what they want to do. And that's okay. I mean, you do what you want to do. And you say what you want to say. But it's just a cause and effect. It's not just you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, you can, because you got a choice. But it's consequences to it. Like we said, and y'all got to read this thing and whatever you read. We're going to be judged on the words we speak and how we speak it. Our intent of it. You know, I was thinking about my grandfather's grandfather was a slave. Wasn't too many generations apart. I mean, this thing ain't that old where that word, that slang, the intent of it hurt a lot of people, man. It's still resonating people. And somebody got to explain to me how we took the word or we use it for endearment, because I don't hear endearment when somebody says I'm going to go, that niggas over there I'm going to bust upside their head. It's just representing, you just saying something about you putting, they were black, so we are the dark skinned people and people niggas? I don't know. Y'all tell me. I would like to know that. Because I see each and every one of us humans beings as a creation of something beautiful. Something beautiful created us. Something perfect created us. So how can you insult it, its work? When you talk to someone in a harsh, insulting way, or putting that person down, or using insulting language, you know what you're doing, intent. You ain't hurting the person. Really. You're hurting God. Creation, his thing. You're talking about each other. Hurting each other. Going killing each other. Doing all kinds of things. We hurting God. Yeah. We all belong to him. I mean, all depends on how you're living, though. And what you're doing and how you're talking. Yeah. Jesus made it. Yeah, listen, y'all gotta go read that part where he said, you know, I ain't be laughing because it's serious. He said, they said your mom and your brother and your family outside. And Jesus replied, listen, my family is the one that listen and serve and obey God. That's my family. That's my family. So everybody that does that, we family. Yeah, we family. That's right. Because the ones that stopped, well, they was with God already, and the other thing, they lost their position. They got kicked out. Yeah, they got kicked out, and they can't get back there. We have a chance to make it right. We can say we wrong. Some people can't do that. That's pride. Admit and stand up to it. Yeah. Some of us can't do that. Some of us need help doing it. So the question is, am I in it? No, comedians, they go anywhere and have a good time with comedians. They be joking and stuff. And they use it. So the black people are niggas. Not in my eyes. Y'all not niggas in my eyes. Y'all beautiful creations of the Lord people, humans. You know, and I adore y'all. Even if, listen, we all bad and good. All of us got a bad streak and we got a good streak. All of us. We ain't no better than each other. We all on the same playing field. Y'all might not think so. I mean, this person got a lot of money or he's famous or this and that. At the end of it, they just got much chance of getting into heaven as you do. I mean, hey, because they can't take all that. They can't take no fame with them. They can't take that money with them. They can't take none of this possession, all this stuff down here. That's gonna stay down here. That's gonna stay in this reality. It's gonna blow up and go burn. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it ain't going with us. Only that beautiful piece of spirit that's inside you is what I'm concerned about. And we going to the good place. You know, this is good. Man, listen, man, when I start talking, man, this thing, and it just, time just seemed like a fine by. I got another friend in here, Mr. Charles Owens. Let me tell you about this man, Mr. Charles Owens, and Mrs. Owens. I met these people when I went to trucking school down in Kentucky. Yeah, we were down in Elizabeth, Kentucky, for our trucking school thing. We was in the hotel and we was going to class, and these people was in my class, Mr. Charles Owens and his wife, and we got to know each other, and you know, we became friends, still friends today. I call and check on them and stuff like that, and they shout me out, you know. They got it. Listen, the Lord has showed that they got people to listen. They got a new business they just opened. Yes. Now they went to trucking school, got their license and everything. And he was in the military. He's a military man. She's in the office and a professional person. They just, listen, we gave them a nickname We called them the Obamas of trucking. Because the love and the respect and how they treat each other and how they talk to each other. And, you know, I mean, I haven't seen that since my grandmother and grandfather. You know, they just exhume that marriage and that love thing, you know. I mean, it is, yeah. But they got a new trucking company. I'm going to post it on my Facebook. I'm going to post it on all this social media thing and put it out there. They just started a trucking company. Listen here. I read all things is possible through a good thing. And they is in that good thing. Jesus is, man, they had Jesus so much on them, and when they walked by me, I fell down over there in Kentucky. It was hot, man. Yeah, sure did. But yeah, Mr. Owens, I say hello, how you doing, man? You and your beautiful wife and family. You know, I pray for y'all. Put y'all in my prayers. You know, I pray for everybody. You know, I pray for the whole world. Yeah, I pray for everyone. Most time when I pray. You know, I just don't pray for myself and my family because I consider all of us family. Because we all come from, I mean, I had an interesting conversation. I ain't cutting it off, but I had an interesting conversation with one of this gentleman there, and found out that we have mutual people we know. I ain't gonna call the name out, whatever may be the case. A lot of people, you know, you gotta respect people. But he came in today and we was talking and stuff, and he had said, yeah, I asked the question, who's the first man? And he was like, oh, we was the first original man. Yeah, I said, well, it came from one Adam. How's that? We? Who was we? Who's we? We the original man. Who? What are you talking about? You know, a lot of dark-skinned people say black man was first. Who? Man, listen, I don't know who was first. I know we all came out of that one. We all came out of the one. So, black, white, we all the same. You know, because got different skin color, talk different language. Yeah, we're going to figure that out. Okay, we're going to figure that out together. You know, but not just us. Holy Spirit going to come in between all of us, and we're going to bind it together and get the truth out of that, because that don't make sense. Talk about original man. He was the first. Adam was the first. Was he blue, yellow, green, black? What? He's a human. We all came out of that. He packed and put all of us in that one. Then he said, we're going to spread it around. And there's all of us now. I don't know how many of us been since him. It's been billions, probably. We up to probably 1 trillion. I don't know. Because we don't know when that thing will start. And I was reading about like Enoch. His dad they was living 900 years. Now, I don't know how they did the measuring of the clock and the calendar and all that stuff. You know, he got so many different calendars and so many different things. But, yeah, this was a good conversation. I would like for people that's listening, or when they start hear this podcast and they hear it on YouTube and stuff like that, we think about the words and how we treat each other and what we talk about each other. You know, trying to offend each other and get back revenge. This person did this to me, this happened to me, or whatever. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing happened to each and every one of us, no more than it happened to Jesus Christ. That's the worst thing to happen. It had to happen because we wasn't capable enough of straightening and fixing this mess out. And he took it for us. The mess, the ugliness, the sin, the dirt, all of it. Yeah, well, I'm in it too, because, yeah, that's right. I ain't saying it just with us. I say all of us. We low down and dirty, all of us. But we got good in us too. We do. We have good in us too. Potential to do good, turn it around. And then one thing about God, he gave us a chance to repent and own up to what you did and say you're wrong. You have that knowledge to do it. You have the knowledge to do it. But it's a choice then. Either you want to or you're not. You don't want to do it. Am I a nigger? That's a good question, man. Especially nowadays, that's a good question. I think it is. I don't know. How y'all feel about that? You know? I don't know what this Facebook was saying, because I stopped playing the music, and last week I don't own the rights to the music on there, and they better slug it out. They ain't say anything. Now, maybe because I said that word nigger. I don't know, and, you know,